bitch, you a bird, you thought, you learn, you see, I earn, you stop. A word, I shoot, no rim, I'm high, you burn, I'm me, that's him, you nah, that's word.
What's going on, man? Champ, how's it going, man? New life champion, got the belt around your waist. But what's been going on with you, man? Everything good?
Can't complain. Yeah, just training, getting ready for this first defense.
Oh, absolutely, man. So talk to me. Obviously, you got that big fight coming up. The big defense, right? BKFC 62, Alberto Blas. I mean, big fight, right? But aside from that, man, aside from that, how are you? How's the family? Is everything good? Because I'm sure times are
Uh,
busy now, right? But everything else is good, yeah?
yeah, times are definitely busy. Fight team's been doing great. Freaking, got a nice batch of up and coming killers. Family's doing good. Um, yeah, just trying to enjoy life while I can. But yeah, just staying on that grind.
Absolutely. So Modern Warrior MMA gym, that's kind of what you're referring to there, right?
Yep, yep.
When did you
Uh,
start that up, man? So, or how did that come to fruition? Because that's interesting. Anytime a fighter's got a gym, I'm always curious to hear how that whole thing got started.
Yeah, like I actually didn't want to open up a gym at first, just because I've had Modern Warrior for probably 13 years, I
Okay.
think.
So it's
But
not
like
that new at all.
now, like yeah, but like when I first was especially I was younger and I was like really figuring out what this pro fighting thing was about, and me and my best friend at the time wanted he wanted to open up a gym together.
Okay.
I was like, I don't know, I think I should probably focus on my fighting and stuff like that. He's like, I was like, yeah, well, he's like, you just help out with a couple of classes, like, you promote the gym through fighting and stuff like that. And then like that immediately, as soon as we opened up the gym, like I was in there like teaching like all the damn time, and but I like fell in love with it. Like I get way more like nervous and way more joy when my students fight than when I fight.
And I know you
Like
said maybe you wanted to focus sort of on being a fighter, but like if there's anything you want to do outside of fighting, at least own a gym, right? So you could at least always be there. You got time to train. You're always sort of drilling, right? Has that been the case for you? Like even though you wanted to just stick to being a fighter, just by osmosis of being in a gym, being around other fighters, even when you're not fighting yourself, like that still kind of helps, right?
yeah, no, absolutely. Like that's I think that's one of the big reasons why even when I'm so late in my career, why I've been having such success.
Oh yeah.
Who knew you could be in your prime and at 40, freaking but because um like with me, I never stopped training, so I'm never trying to get back to where I was. Like I don't take vacations. I don't do I stay in the gym. Because as soon as I'm done fighting, somebody else got to fight or
And so is
so
that sort of a thing of obligation for you? You feel responsible, or is it something that you just openly like to do? Like, is that something that you want to be there? Is that what it is? Or is it maybe a bit of
um
both?
definitely a little definitely a little bit of both. Here's the thing, like the people in my gym, we're family. We are closer than most people at gyms and stuff like that. So
Okay.
you know um I want to help my family succeed. I want to see everybody do good.
Right.
So it's a little bit of obligation, but it's also just one I love doing it. I love being in there. I don't I when I first started fighting and training, I did it to help with PTSD and stuff like that. So
Okay.
I don't
Okay.
even know what and I haven't stopped. So I don't even know what it looks like with me without fighting. Maybe I
No,
just go off the deep end.
absolutely. Right. Because obviously you do got that military background, right? I'm sure you've spoken about some of that in the past. So when you're training for a fight, right? It is an MMA gym. Is that where you do the bulk of your training for BKFC fights?
Yeah, like I've gotten it to where I could do all my training in house.
Clearly
Uh,
it's working, right? You got the belt around your waist. So
yep. Like,
If it ain't
plus I'm
broke,
like,
don't fix it.
plus I got a good thing where I get like a lot of guys from other gyms come to my gym and get work. Yeah, like like just this next weekend, like Tony Soto's coming down. Like, he
Okay,
does that
nice.
like regularly when we're both in camp. Like, so that guy's like him, Trevor Loken, John Barnard. Like, so like I'm very blessed to where I've got like a bunch of real good guys like that. Like my gym kind of become like the hub where everybody feels comfortable training. We've got like a great atmosphere. Like we don't have running beefs with other gyms. So like everybody just feels like, more than welcome. So like I get some great people to show up and beat the shit out of each other.
Sounds like you definitely built a great atmosphere there, man. Want to shift gears. When you look back on your last fight against Barnett, right? You captured the title, obviously a huge moment for you. Do you have any thoughts on that fight as you look back on it now? Like, what are the feelings when you look back on that October fight?
Yeah, like I feel like if you watch, like I was just like after that fight, I was super emotional. It
Absolutely.
was like it was such a crazy year. Like I fought 4 times. That like I went from debut to
Yeah,
champ in 10 months.
right. In a
Like
BK and a bare knuckle promotion too.
yeah, so like I dedicated that whole year to my dad. It was just like the culmination of everything. Like, and it just it was just super emotional. Like because he was the one person that I really wanted there. Like to be there to share it with. But it was it's like such a great fight. Like like it couldn't have went better. Like it was like the culmination of like all the training, all the experience that I picked up, and like and then just I felt like I really figured out how to transfer all my skills into bare knuckle, and like like I took I dethroned one of the greatest champs like that we've had in BKFC history, relative without getting touched too much.
First thing you said as champ was, this one's for you, Pops. Did it mean more for you to get that win for him than anything else or anyone else? Like, is he the ultimate motivation in your fight career?
Um,
Aside from
yeah, like
perhaps yourself, maybe?
um, yeah, like he's always like he's been in almost all of my fights. Like a lot like for a long time throughout my career, like I always like um my one of my biggest motivators was like a lot of the like my brothers that like didn't make it home and stuff like that. Like I've had
Yeah,
guys like that pretty much gave their life for me to still be here. So like I've
yeah.
always felt like I always felt pressure to do something great with the gift that I've been given. Like I felt like I always feel like I'm on borrowed time because I never expected to live past 23. So like like every day since then, it's been bonus bonus time. But like this past year, like after like losing my dad like a week before that Scoggins fight, um, like he was always on the front of my mind, like and how like how much he would have like just loved seeing like what was happening. He was there for like all the grinding, like all the fights, all my wrestling matches. Like he's just always been there. Like he deserved to get to see the world title because it was as much as much like he had as much hand in it as I did.
Well, I mean, hope, I'm sure he's looking down on you with a smile on his face. So hopefully we could lay our heads on the pillow at night knowing that. Well, you talked about the BKFC gold, man, right? You had an MMA career in the past. You've won some belts in MMA as well. Where does that BKFC championship win rank for you in your combat sports career? Is it at the top?
Absolutely. Like it's the first like world title I've ever held. Like I've beaten like former world title holders
Sure.
like in MMA. Like I've had some big fights in MMA. Like like um, unlike a lot of guys, like I was like I went out like I left MMA on a big winning streak.
Sure.
Where like so like there's some guys like they like they almost kind of like retired into bare knuckle. No, like I actively chose this because like
That's true. Yeah.
it's
Very
something
true.
crazy. There's some there's some dogs in there, and like you know and I saw the potential, and I saw the potential growth of the company in there too.
How does like a bare knuckle punch feel compared to an MMA glove to the face? Because I feel like based on some fighters I've spoken to in the past, like that answer could be surprising, right? Like, is it that much different? How does it feel compared to that? MMA versus
Um,
bare knuckle punch. How does it feel?
like to me, the biggest difference, like when things land flush, there's not a huge difference, like in the feeling. It's the grazing shots that hurt a lot more because now you're just taking like a small enough, and those are the ones that cut.
Yeah.
And it's just the fact that like in bare knuckle everything fucking hurts. It hurts to get hit. It hurts to hit them. There's like it's like there's just a certain brutality in it where like you'll see a lot of guys that like they can physically get up, but they don't because they physically had enough. Like like bare knuckle tests your will more than any of the other combat sports. Freaking where like like I said, like like the guys aren't like you'll see a lot of times where the guys aren't out cold, but they just like they look up at their ref and they're just like nah, like I've
And that's not something you see in MMA as much, nearly as much.
nah, like almost like almost never like like because see like even if you get dropped like you don't get 10 seconds to get back up, like the guy's already on top of you, like
Yeah,
like
true. Yeah.
like and now you're just like the only thing that you can do is try to cover up and stop the beating.
When you look at both sports, what do you think are some similarities and differences, right? BKFC or bare knuckle fighting to MMA. Are there any similarities and differences to both of them?
Um, yeah, there are definitely like similarities, like especially with like MMA. Like I think there's a reason why like MMA fighters have had like a lot of early success in BKFC. Like just the toughness it takes to like because like a bare knuckle punch like hurts and stuff like that.
Right.
But like so does checking kicks, like taking elbows and stuff like that. Like and just that like that killer mindset where like boxing it can be a little bit more of the sweet science and stuff like that, like it's not like you're not like getting like your face isn't usually getting cut open as much, like like you've got bigger gloves, so like it's like you can hit harder, like and like a lot of times like guys will go out in boxing, but like just that 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 mentality of like just being able to take a beating and like keep pushing forward, like like I think that's very similar with MMA and
Okay.
bare knuckle. um I'll say the training camps are a lot easier for bare knuckle than MMA. Like it's just a lot
That's
less
one
wear and tear
aspect.
body. Like because the grunt, like the thing that really starts wearing on your body is the wrestling, the grappling,
Right.
the cage work and stuff like that. um but like like when you don't have that, but the fights can be a little tougher like bare knuckle, like just because you're getting your hands mashed up and you're
Right.
like I said earlier, like everything just hurts like in bare knuckle. And like when it's a war, like you saw what I looked like after the Scoggins fight,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
like it's like it gets
It's no
brutal, like
joke, man. It's legit. Yeah. I'm sure you had to sort of have a coming of together of realizations, I'm sure you sort of had to have a moment to yourself before even joining the sport. Like, I'm getting myself into something that it's serious, right?
yeah, like even though like like studies prove that it's like relatively safer, which anytime you're
Sure.
doing
Yeah.
something
Yeah. Yeah.
new and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
And like for me, I always knew how good my striking was and how good like my striking could be. um
Evidently now,
but
right?
but like it was kind of like crazy because like my whole MMA career, everybody's always thought of me as a grappler and like a submission artist. So like
Crazy.
I'm like I'm like I'm as good as I think I am, right? Like I'm not just delusional. So
As
like,
far as the striking, you've certainly went out there and proved it, man.
like so that was a great opportunity to like to prove that to my like to everybody and including myself.
Absolutely. Now, as far as this next matchup, right? Because we don't want to take up too much of your time now. I know you got like you said, busy times. You got a fight coming up. Again, as far as this fight, right? Alberto Blas, stylistically, do you think this could be the biggest test for you in a BKFC ring so far?
Um, I think stylistically so far, honestly, he might be he might be a little bit more dangerous. I don't think I don't think he's the toughest test. Like stylistically, I've fought like better strikers that are a tougher matchup, like Scoggins, and like better boxers like Reggie Barnett.
Sure.
But like he's he's proven himself to be dangerous, but like we'll see. Like he hasn't fought like super high level competition yet. Like and like he doesn't have the experience I do, doesn't have that fight IQ. But like anybody that's dangerous and young and confident and believes in themselves, like you gotta be careful about, especially early on.
That's definitely true. Now, you say the word danger, and that sticks with me too, right? Because I mean, you look at a guy, it's all first round knockouts, right? And I'm sure this is very much in your plans to not be on that list. But what do you need to be to make sure you're not one of those people that, got finished by him in the first round? Like, have you been looking into things in camp to sort of neutralize some of those early finishes he's been able to produce?
Yeah, like plus he's also got to be like very cautious of my power. Only one guy's
Well, I was just gonna say, man, he's not the only one getting these early finishes. I was gonna say that because you like to get people out of there as well. So,
I've been getting I've been getting those finishes, and like nobody's not gotten knocked down by me yet.
oh, dude, you're getting everyone out of there.
So
First
like
round, and if it's not, then it's a second.
like it's but I think with my ability to move, like generally I'm usually good at avoiding danger and being dangerous myself. Like I think I've got some of the best footwork in the organization. Like it's like with my ability to switch, fade, not get hit and counter with high volume. Yeah, I think once he feels my power, I think he's going to be a lot less willing to step in and try to take my head off. Like he's gonna be a little bit more cautious. Because he's not going to want to get his own head taken off.
So, I mean, you talked about some of the things you could do to neutralize the early finishes, right? But what do you think it is about him that's helping him get all these finishes? Obviously you don't want to give away, maybe too much of your strategy or whatever, but, anything that caught your eye as far as what's getting him to finish these people early on?
Um,
Because it's something, right? I mean, he's not just doing it. It's not luck. Would you say it's luck for you? It's not, right? You're getting these guys out of there with skill, technique, and heart, right? So I'm sure.
yeah,
I
no,
mean, what is it about this guy?
I've had like like the like in the Perez fight, like that was something me and one of my coaches had planned on doing, like something that we saw that
Right.
we planned on doing, like off the rip. Like for me, it's definitely been that, and like also just my ability to be super versatile and like be dangerous with both hands in both stances. Like when I fought Reggie, I dropped him with both hands in two different stances.
Yeah. You dropped him with
So
a jab, right?
uh, I dropped him with a check hook from ortho.
The one in the beginning of the second, you hit him with like one shot, and he just immediately.
Yeah, that was that was just a little.
Oh, the hook. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Little check hook as he was trying to step in with a jab.
There you go.
Like and that was from ortho. Like the first the first knockdown was a right hook from southpaw. and then I want to say the one like the last one was I think it was a right hook from Ortho.
Yeah. You guys
Um,
are both, again, you guys are both finishers, right? I mean, is there any thought in your head that this fight can go the distance, or is it just a foregone conclusion that it's not? Because me as a fan, I mean, I look at this fight and I'm like, there's no way this is going the distance. But that's just me, you know, because you guys are both finishers, right?
like for me, like I think if it goes the distance, like because like I'm always training prepared for a fight to go the distance. Um, like I know, like I'm not gonna get like and if I'm conscious, I'm getting up every fucking time. I don't know about that with him yet. Like like
And
with
you
me
said
and
that before, right? They're gonna have to break you physically before they break you mentally, right?
yeah, and that's just not possible with everything I've been through in life. Like
Yeah.
you're not gonna break me mentally. With him, like I don't know, we haven't seen him. Like we haven't seen him get tested at least in bare knuckle. I've seen him get tested and like look for an out like in other like in boxing.
Right.
So we'll see like how hard is going to be in there. And if he like he starts getting dropped, if he's going to answer the call. Like it's seen like even in bare knuckle, like Scoggins dropped me right after I dropped him. Freaking got right back up and like my face was annihilated. There was no way I was letting anybody stop that fight. Like there was no way that I was gonna stop. And like I just got stronger as the fight got on. Like the grittier and bloodier it got, the tougher I got about it. Like if it doesn't end quickly, we'll see we'll see what he's got in those tanks, what he can pull out of himself. Because if it doesn't end quickly, like he's going to be hurting.
Absolutely. Now,
We'll see how willing he is, to take that punishment.
oh yeah, I love that, man. I'm definitely excited for the fight. And you're definitely helping preview it right now. I gotta say, look, as a champion now, right, and as an active one, I might add, because you are a very active fighter. Is that something you're going to continue to do as champion now, or is it sort of pick and choose your moments wiser because you're champion? Like, what's your mindset as a champion? You know, is it stay active, stay on the grind?
Yeah, no, I've been pissed with this layoff. I've been like I was hitting them.
And there's a long layoff for you, right? For others, it's kind of just like in between
Yeah,
fights.
it's been brutal. Like so like I want to be as active as I can. Like whatever it takes. Like to stay in there, stay active. Like because I feel amazing right now. Like I'm always in the gym anyway. I don't really take vacations. So if I'm in shape and ready to go, why not fight?
Absolutely.
Plus I like getting a paycheck.
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't hurt either, right? I gotta ask you, right? As someone who's a BKFC fighter, again, now as champion of the promotion, and I don't know too much about this myself, haven't looked into it, but just on the surface, right? Conor McGregor, getting some ownership in the company. What are your thoughts on that? Because I think that could definitely help significantly, right? What are your thoughts?
No, I'm excited to see what it's gonna bring. Like definitely he's one of the masters of fight promotion. Like I like even in the small time small time that he's been an owner and stuff like that.
He walks in, he's like, I've already got the belt. Do you remember that when he said that?
Oh yeah, but
the guy can promote, man. You're right, absolutely.
Yeah, he brought so much more publicity to the to the organization, and that's gonna bring more dollars into the equation. So I'm all about it. Do you know how huge it would be if he fought on a fucking card?
Oh yeah.
The dollar signs just to be on that card would be insane. But just having him there, having him promote, bringing sponsorships to the it's really just going to help the organization. Yeah, and and at least he's helping. He's not like taking full reins of it, because like he can also be a madman.
Oh
So
yeah.
like
Got to
I'm
be
glad
careful who you give the
Feldman's still like running the show, but like
yeah.
having like Conor there is like gonna be, it's gonna do even bigger things for like we're already the fastest growing sport in the world right now. Like it's just gonna it's just gonna hit it into overdrive. Like he already like posted about our fight card on his Instagram.
That's
You
sick,
know,
man.
and that's
What I mean.
five,
That's why I asked, because I mean, you get something like that. That's such a big contribution.
yeah, and that's 5 million followers.
Yeah.
Like that's like ridiculous. Like so like I think it's just gonna do great things for the organization. I'm excited to see what happens. Yeah.
We
Too
talk. I
bad.
mean,
Like too bad he's like I never see him coming back to like 45 or 55. Like so I couldn't like
I was
there's
gonna
not even a
ask you.
point me
Yes.
trying to call him out. Like like I don't think he's ever gonna go back under 170. So like
Especially as the champ, now that you got that power, right, man? If he was in those lower weight classes, it would have been, could have been interesting if he was in a
I
BKFC
guess
setting.
could have been something. But like I think he'll build bring some big names to the organization too. Like guys that'll like guys that we'll see what's going on here, and like we'll get more of those like top names from boxing and MMA. See the opportunities that can be here. Like
Yeah.
I can like try to get some of them marquee Mike Perry fights.
Absolutely. So we spoke about, or you mentioned Dave Feldman rather, and I feel almost obligated to ask you, because you seem to be the opposite of this kind of fighter. Like, obviously Dave wasn't happy after BKFC 61. We're not going to get into the specifics, because I don't really think you want to voice opinions on that. I don't think you really care, or maybe it's not your business to talk about that. But I want to key in on the fact that he said that he wants to do something called a Quitter of the Night award, right? Because he doesn't want fighters to, he wants fans to get the best bang for their buck, and he wants
Yeah.
fighters to be active and engaged. You're someone who gets guys out of there quick. You're a dog, man. I mean, you're a fighter's fighter. Is this something that you like, this Quitter of the Night stuff that Dave wants to do?
Um.
I mean, I don't even know if he was just saying that to bash the guy. I
Yeah.
don't even
Like
know if this is actually
I
a
think
thing.
they're just
But what do you
like
think about that mindset, at least?
Yeah, like I think that was just an in the moment thing.
Sure. Like, I don't think there's going to be a physical
like,
award, right? But
like like it was one of the biggest one of the biggest cards. Like ever, and like he's definitely like he's somebody that believes in the product. Like loves the sport. Wants to do everything that he can to like see it grow. Like anything that he thinks hurts the sport, like he's gonna have a specific reaction to. Like it's rough. Like like because sometimes like sometimes you'll go out there and like something's not right. Like you'll have that, like it's almost like a quicksand mentality and stuff like that. Like
it's not your
it's
day,
rough,
and you
but
just so happen to fight that day, right?
yeah, something just feels off. Like it's rough. Like and like
That's a thing.
a lot of guys, like they, if they haven't felt that before, like in a fight, like because like if you're experiencing like like one of the big things that I tell my guys in my gym, like one, like you'll never enter a fight like 100%, and like you never know what you're gonna have on that particular day. Like the day that you've been training for so hard, like the day you want to perform fucking at your best, like one, you're probably not going to be at your best, and like sometimes you're not even close to it. Like you've got to figure like you've got to figure out one, how to just push that out of your mind. And like even if like, because you're never going to have 100%, but you've got to give 100% or whatever the fuck you've got that day. Like I understand, like especially as a promoter and as president of the company, like being pissed off when you when you think somebody just like quit. Like I understand that, and I agree with it, like to a point, like to go like to kind of make it like an award where you're like as a fighter, like that I don't know if I necessarily like, I'm a fan of that. Like, it's nothing that I'm ever in danger of fucking getting.
That's what I'm
Um,
saying.
but like, yeah, like you never know what's going on in somebody's head.
Right.
A lot of like, I think I'm pretty like good, but there are a lot of fighters that are just fucking this is their therapy, and like sometimes they go out there and they're off their fucking meds. So it's just like you never know, you never know what and then to be publicly ridiculed and stuff like that, because it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter if you do everything great or you do everything bad. These days there's so much public ridicule anyway that it's just gonna exponentially make it that much worse. So because I can go on my Instagram right now and somebody be like, "Fuck you, you're dog shit," freaking like. So for the organization that you're working for to do that, it, I, I've seen fighters really struggle fucking with public perception. So I understand it, and like I kind of have I kind of go both ways on it. But at the end of the day, you're never gonna see me getting it. So
I hear you, man. No, absolutely. And I love that answer. Very well said, my friend. Let's
not
leave it
not
at
my
one.
dog, not my fight.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It sounds very much like that's sort of where you're going with it, but you also you're a fighter, so you get it. Absolutely, man. One
Yeah.
more question here before we sign off. Do you have any last thoughts before you head into your first championship defense? Any last words? Any last thoughts?
Um. I think if you've ever seen me fight, you kind of know what you get into. Like freaking, I'm either gonna go out there and I'm gonna go out there ready to bang and put on a show. Every bare knuckle fight I've been in so far has been bonus worthy. So
Absolutely.
and the game plan hasn't changed. The work ethic hasn't changed. Freaking, so the performance isn't going to change.
There you go,
Um,
guys. I love
go
that,
out
man.
there, go out there. Make sure you guys watch, because it's always going to be a show.
Yeah, man, I love that. I mean, and anytime you fight, I could definitely co-sign on that. It's definitely going to be a show. But nonetheless, guys, BKFC Bantamweight champion Keith Richardson, first title defense at BKFC 62 in June against Alberto Blas. Thank you so much for joining us, man. Best of luck.
No problem. Appreciate it, brother. Have a good one.